Hey student teachers, I wanted to just make you a quick video to introduce myself and talk a little bit about your education supervisor visits this semester. So first, congratulations on getting into a classroom. I think each of you that I'm supervising this semester are middle school teachers, which is where I started as a teacher 25 years ago. And so I'm excited for you to start this journey. Just a little bit about me. I did start as a middle school teacher. I actually taught religious seminary classes and then taught in a private school where I wasn't certified in Connecticut as I was working on my master's degree. So those were my first two teaching experiences. Then I taught institute and went and finished all my degrees and started teaching in higher education. I taught at Indiana University and the University of Wisconsin before moving back to Utah 8 years ago. And at that time, I actually went back into the classroom as a fifth grade teacher. So I have experience teaching middle school, elementary school, and higher education in a bunch of different places, which is pretty fun. I've always loved being a teacher, but I especially love my role right now where I teach introductory courses here at SUU. So I teach 1010, 2100, and I love those ones because students are coming into the program, they're excited about becoming teachers, and I get to talk about the realities of being a classroom teacher, having spent so many years in the classroom. I also love being able to supervise student teachers and continue to be in the classroom and see things how things are evolving and changing. So it's a great opportunity for me just to be in your classroom, see what things look like. Now, as far as observations this semester, as your middle school teachers, you need 3 observations instead of the typical 4 for an elementary school teacher. And so I will be in 3 times. We want to do that sooner than later. And most of you, I maybe all of you, but I think at least most of you are at Cedar Middle School, where I have a son at school, and I do carpool there before and after school every day anyways. And so it's neat for me on the days where I can come do observations. My hope is to just come in the morning, drop him off, get into one of your classrooms, stay there for the day, and get to as many of your classrooms as possible. Now, the way that will look for you is you're going to prepare your lesson and have your SUU lesson plan template ready. You can email that to me if you want to, but what I'd actually prefer is that you print it out and have it set out for me on the day that I come do my observation. That way I can just look through the lesson plan as you're starting to teach. I'll have specific things to look for. I did that a lot. I spent 3 years as a faculty supervisor at Indiana University, where I went into hundreds of classrooms, and I found that simply having things to look for, being able to look at the lesson plan, made my time much more effective because I could then ask specific questions about, you said you were going to do this thing and this is what it looked like. Can I ask you why you did it? Stuff like that. Now, I have found in 15 years of observations that simply being in your classroom for a very long time won't necessarily tell me a lot more about your classroom than if I'm there even for a fairly short period of time. And so my goal is to maximize the time I am there. My hope is with whatever period I come in, that I can come in either at the beginning of the period and stay for the entire period, or come so that I'll at least be there as you finish up the period so that I can then talk to you afterwards about what we observed. So for me, it's really important that we have time to talk immediately after, when at all possible. Now, if that's not going to happen because once your period gets over, you have to rush off to another classroom or something like that, or maybe I'll need to do that. If you can work with your mentor teacher and say, hey, Mr. C's coming in, can I teach the first half of the lesson, and then can you take over and teach the last half of the lesson while I meet with him? That has worked really well for me in the past as well. So I want to make sure I'm at least there for 15-20 minutes at a minimum, and a full period if possible, but making sure that we have 5 to 10 minutes minimum right afterwards to talk is super important. And so that's where I need your help, is helping me to arrange that. Now, because I'm going to the same school for most of you, I want to use my observation days as effectively as possible. Right now, my plan is to do as many observations as possible on Wednesdays. I don't have any other meetings on Wednesdays. And so if I can come in and do a bunch of observations, that's going to be really great. So here's what I need from you in response to this video and this email. Simply write back and tell me, if I come on Wednesdays, is there a period you want me to come more than others? And are there times of the day where I can't come at all? So tell me if you have a prep period or things like that. Now I know the school schedule, so you can just say period 1, period 2, etc. You don't have to tell me the actual times. But please let me know what your preference is. And if for whatever reason Wednesday doesn't work, let me know that as soon as possible so I can make other arrangements. It's possible for me to come on Fridays, possibly Mondays. Tuesdays and Thursdays are rough because I'm teaching most of the day on those days, and so and have meetings as well. So it's really difficult for me to come out Tuesday, Thursday. So that's it. I guess I could tell you a little bit more about me. Here we are in my office. You see in the background I have action figures from the 80s, so I'm a child of the 80s. Here's a running medal. I ran a half marathon with my daughter a few months ago. I've actually run a bunch of marathons and ultra marathons, but running with your kids is the best. I've got a snorkel here from a recent trip to Florida. Lavelle Edwards signed football because I was a sports writer and covered BYU football recruiting for about 5 years. So I'm a pretty big BYU football fan. We have a bunch of books about teaching here. A few of the books I wrote are up here. You can't see them, but I've written a few books, one about teaching and the rest about other random side hustles that I have. I actually do quite a few things on the side with YouTube channels, podcasts, website design, real estate, and so I keep plenty busy, but my favorite of all my jobs is being a teacher. And so I guess that's enough about me. I do have 4 kids, as I mentioned. 1 is at the middle school, 2 in the high school, and 1 in elementary at Iron Springs. And we love Cedar City. So I'm grateful to be here. I'm looking forward to meeting you. And as I mentioned, respond to me about your schedule. And I'm still figuring out this new Sonia system. I'm hopeful that I won't have to bring my computer in to do the observation. I'm just going to try to print the forms and then I'll retype them up after the observations and import them that way. But I know this is a learning process for you as we're transitioning over to the system. It's also a learning process for me. So we'll do our best. I think most importantly is we just want to get going on these observations as soon as we can so that we don't fall behind schedule. And I want to be able to help you with the PPAT and anything else you need. So feel free to drop me an email at any time, tylerchristiansen11@suu.edu, and I will make sure that I answer any questions that come in. All right, thanks. Bye.